Right, I'm about to hand over the chair of the meeting for this session, because we're obviously a DPULO in the Southwest, and we wanted this section to be chaired by independent people. So we're going to actually have people from the ODI programme. I'm sure they will introduce themselves in due course. A couple of housekeeping issues. Evaluation forms. My colleague Claire says, do you fill your evaluation forms in? You might even think about filling them in now, but we really do want them in. You won't literally pull your hostage. If we have the choice, we would. And we really do want to know from you how things are, because we always want to try and improve.
That's right.
Secondly, in terms, and Claire on this can just nod if we get this correctly, the intention is that for all attendees, and ideally all those people that would have come today, for whatever reason, haven't turned up on the day, we intend to send them notes and PowerPoints and a list of actual attendees. We do that? Yeah, sorry, whatever. Yeah, okay, now we don't intend to do notes and PowerPoints, but let's do a list of attendees is quite good as well, not least for the purpose of enabling people to have networking with other people who without necessarily having to do it all by us. Right, okay, very important now, this session is, sorry? There'll be a film as well, yes, there'll be a film, oh yes, there was something else as well. And you may remember from the session this morning around the workshop on working with ULOs and come together in your local area. As we said, a local area could be whatever your area was. And if anyone is interested in taking forward that offer, and please do speak to Rachel either now, today, or later. But yes, you go via Rachel if you're interested in taking that forward. Okay, and I will now hand over the chair, and you won't see me again until right at the end, just before I say time to go.
Stab. Sherry crop. Okay. Oh, fine.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Southwest. We still got some energy left in this room. Do you know what I'm telling you? This is like the last event. And my team members have never allowed me being near microphone until today. Like, what is all this about? I know there's something going on. The energy to come out, so I tell you guys in advance. This is it's really interesting because I've been to quite a number of the events across the country, and everyone's kind of got their own flavour, and it's been just to say thank you for my invitation, and it's been a real pleasure to come down on my 3.5-hour journey last night from Yorkshire. It was a bit of a trek because I had to leave a performance that I was doing at the interval of one of my own plays. But it's been really lovely because I got the opportunity to meet so many people that I can now connect with an organisation. I know a lot of the names of organisations, but I don't know you personally, so that's been a real pleasure. So thank you for the invitation. Right. About, I'm going to leave it for you, Rachel, if anybody thinks about this. Cool. About the formal, the forum, the national forum. You know, when I first heard about the national forum, I was two things. One was excited, and I was excited because last year, Tess is in the room and Rachel's here as the ambassador as well in her previous life. We kind of came together last year to look at what some of our priorities were and some of the things that we want to see happen as part of our strengthening the DPULO program. And it's almost a little bit became like a wish list because, you know, we are so pro this sector and want it to do well and be part of society and be sustainable and active, is that if somebody told us last year that we were going to have this forum, I would have not quite believed it, and that it was going to be possibly funded. So I'm really excited about the opportunity really to build on what the programme has already begun, and that is strengthening our sector. The other thing which I thought was that this is rare. You know, it's really rare to get the opportunity to kind of connect up DPLOs, disabled people, and democracy. This is going to be like my mini rant. Democracy and our active participation is so important that for us to be, we're all part of the community, whatever we represent in those community, and we all have the right to be active citizens. And that means if you have the right to be active citizens, you also have the right to be able to influence decisions in a really accessible and inclusive way. And I feel after a very long time that this forum will be a real good start to make some of that happen. It's a real message from government. The fact that our previous speakers already said from the ODI, the fact that we've got 2 ministers sitting there, that is not, that means they are taking this agenda very seriously. And I really hope, if my dad was here, he'd be putting a sprinkling of inshallah across the table, saying, for it to have the impact that we desire to have. One of the things I kind of said at the beginning is you're quite lucky being the last event, is you do benefit from a lot of the discussion in the other areas. For example, how did Yorkshire Hunger go about organising, deciding, exploring how they can participate and how they can organise their particular region in terms of their structure. And I thought it may be useful for me just to share, not in great detail, because I think Louise has done an amazing job about their region. So I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a flavour and idea of the other places. First one is I had to pick North East, because you reminded me the most of them, because they were into clapping, and I like clapping because it shows real audience participation and appreciation, so I'm all for that. And they went for like a European Parliament model. So for their representative at the National Forum, they've gone on a rotating rep. So different DPLOs in that region will be taking it in turns for their area, which is amazing. And they decided that actually at the event, which was fantastic. Yorkshire Humber, they went slightly differently. They decided for them 2 things are important. One is at their regional event to decide who's going to attend just the first meeting. They're not thinking about the short term. What they're really focusing is on the long term. And what they wanted was time and space. It's a really important decision, how you participate in this forum as a region. And they want to take that time to do that properly. So they're going to decide, once the person who's been selected, once they return and give the feedback, they arrange another meeting in the region to then take that time to go through the details of their processes and how their future participation looks like. In other regions, they even explored the idea of the first meeting to have an ambassador to attend, because they're already somebody who's well known in the region, and it just means somebody who can go there and be able to feedback, and again, to have that time to do the more detailed work. One area has also discussed the idea of what do you need to have a network, for example. This is some of the questions that have been kind of put back to us. Simply, you don't have to have a formal network. It is up to you guys. Louisa said everything, it's your voice, it's your area, your region, it's up to you. You could decide on a more organic model that is just about coming together more regular to meet, to discuss issues which are important to you. And as part of that discussion, talking about the National Forum and how you could be involved. That could be a process that could be facilitated and coordinated. And if the funding comes through, please, it could be maybe partly resourced by the ODI. I'm going to stop talking about that. That kind of maybe hopefully gives you a bit of a flavour of what's happening in the other areas. Really, it's up to you guys in your tables. Are we going to only be 10 or 15 minutes? 15? We're going to allow for 15 minutes, and it's 4 to 3 now, maybe till 3 o'clock. to have a discussion on your tables about what the Southwest looks like in terms of its structure. Like, how do you want to meet in terms of coming together as a collective, and also as part of that collective, how you see yourselves to be represented at the national forum. And that could be in two ways, like the other areas on the first meeting, just to get that out of the way, and then the longer term, how you want to go about that. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys to have a discussion. I'm here if you want to come over to give me some more details. Is that okay? Is that clear enough for everybody? Cool, thank you. Start now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We've reached 3 o'clock. I'm just really mindful because I know people have got kind of transport booked, etc. We thought the best way for people to feedback would be that if we can now, even online because of technology, we don't want it to go off any moment. So if we can now, and Rachel's going to help with that to do the feedback. So we're just going to turn the speakers around so everybody else can hear them as well. And then we will just take stuff on the floor as well. Thank you.
Yeah. I really like the idea of the council with disabled people-led organised representatives. The democratically elected and coordinated councils aiming to respect. They centrally in the southwest, somewhere around Exeter and Aldershot, is worthy of state consideration. I don't like the idea of, I'm not in favour of using a vehicle that's already been in place for some time. And although it may have been successful in the past, I think now is the time to fix something new, innovative, and a vehicle that will bring together disabled people, use local organisations to work perhaps more effectively as a collective within the Southwest.
Can everyone hear that? Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so to the floor, can I just, if people just want to, by show of hands, just say if you want feedback from different tables, maybe test your table if you like feedback. I'm not asking you, but your table. Yes.
I think that one of the conversations, I think it's really been Mark that kind of representing that this table. I felt that, you know, whilst we have a particular expertise in our area, that we didn't necessarily have the expertise to and to know enough other user organisations to put ourselves forward. We first of all thought about one of the sort of ambassadors to represent the Southwest. But then we kind of maybe talked about that a little bit more and saying, is that the right person? And you know, who has organised the event today would they be better placed to do that, because clearly they all together and had all of the contacts just for that initial meeting.
Thank you. Would be really useful if you're representing a DPLO in the region to say who that DPLO is, and then you can. Thank you.
Sorry, really not Sunset people first.
Not Sunset. Thank you.
There's a couple of DPLOs in the table, which is myself with Russell. David is with Paul Space, and Sharon is with National Disability and Working Together. So roughly, I think what we quite like the idea, I think, of the east of rotating representatives. Notably around geography, since the Southwest is quite spread, if we're identified in Exeter, so the people next to make more sense to have to go and someone that's up in Bristol and vice versa, then something's happening in Cornwall, also, they suggested setting up something like a Facebook page or account with the essential online area where we could sort of discuss and potentially close to, but as opposed to an open one where all the organisations would be able to sort of discuss perhaps some issues before meeting and stuff. But there would be a need to have a formal meeting, but it could be a
Do anything else from that table like to say anything?
Quick and say well that we did touch on accessibility and if you have a question, there's a way of accessing that.
Thank you. Would you table that I was sat on? The gold star table. Aptly named.
Yes, indeed, the gold stars. So I'm representing Action Disability Work UK. My name is Andy Cow, and also on our table is Chris Smith from the Disabled Golf Association, Ian Woodell from Disabled Responsible Organised People. Yes, I know it's GROP, I don't remember what the GROP stood for, and Kathy Truman from Cerebral Palsy Plus. We were broadly in favour and probably support what Steve has just said online. We thought that having a regional organisation was important and recognised that it might operate at different levels for different organisations. That some organisations might want to work together to bid for contracts. Some organisations might want to network together. Some organisations might want to feed into the process by which the rep goes forward. And the network should be capable of doing all those things. Just responding, I think, specifically to Steve's point, because I know what he meant, what those people who have already previously been involved in supporting regional work would, I'm sure, be very supportive of any new initiative that builds a regional network that people feel they want to participate in. I don't think we have any problems with that. We've had some more practical things in terms of supporting the idea of a rotating rep to the forum. I don't think we have necessarily any view about who might go to the first one, but obviously it's only to depend on someone being available on the third. But that's probably one thing we probably need to have a conversation with after we've had this general discussion. But also has some very practical issues around how we might network in a world where we can't all physically be in the same place at one time. That included things like having a web presence, which might be our own website. What the name of the organisation might be. Certainly, my organisation and other organisations will be willing to support the necessary web infrastructure to make that website supported, going, etc. Because that's quite important. We don't believe the website really sits there and does nothing. But clearly, if you expect people to head into something like Facebook or something with a more ongoing presence or whatever discussion forum, that would be quite useful. We also recognise that, bearing in mind that we are regionally, it's a very big region, that perhaps there are ways in which more locally based organisations might meet, so there might be meetings, actual physical meetings in more localised areas, which would be part of the process of building of regional network. That's fine. Anything else?
Thank you, Andy.
We talked about a number of things. I think we fairly quickly decided that somebody from this meeting could be elected to go as the third meeting, because it's very happening very soon. We are the people that have gone up and turned up on the day. So I think that would be bad, hopefully. But then we were looking at ways then meeting thereafter. Firstly, to choose a regular representative who didn't use the site, it could be one or a rotating. Discussion we talked around the ideas of having north and south cultivated by Skype, by video conference space. I think, again, it's something we talked about earlier today, so we need to think about connecting for our own meetings. I think probably also go to other meetings, is that it's very difficult to get a lot of people together physically to have these meetings, and we need to think of some other way of doing it. But we didn't come up with an answer, we just discussed a few things around that. on the table also is CPR and Madagascar from Newton, and then Graham Rowan from Disabled Responsible Organised People. So you'd like to say something?
Angie from Working People First had to be there and kind of support issues in her organisation, and it turns out that just because the national People First is on the forum doesn't mean that it's represented, because most areas have their own People First groups, so it's really important that People First are properly represented around the region, and the issue of making it really accessible, making the process of decision making and sharing information really accessible to people with different communication needs and different access needs, especially people with learning difficulties, so that they have a proper link and a proper voice. I think that was her key thing, because obviously we want it to be properly implemented.
Yeah, we also talked about the problem of small GPAs being represented, which we thought was probably an issue, because they lack resources and often they just lack staff time. One thing we also discussed was there's been quite a lot of ideas that have come up here. Might it be possible to do a very quick sort of survey survey of all of the GPAs on the list, just asking people, would you prefer a physical meeting that's regional, a physical meeting that's local, a virtual meeting? How accessible is Facebook to you? One of the problems, though, I think, with anything, so you're right, it isn't face to face, but some groups, such as people with learning difficulties, will become automatically disadvantaged. I'm not sure how we get around that.
And we have lots of discussion really heavily around the challenges in working with representative of the region, being like using region to represent the practicality of the practical to be all aware of in the room really, and around the table we had very keen really on how could be a key, certainly speaking from we feel that perhaps utilising existing resources and network, perhaps, a good option. But also the resources set up where in terms of organisations taking turns to have that speed, but obviously ensuring that there's robust means to cascade information up and down. But I think the general feeling was, if there's a seat there, it needs to be utilised, and preferably it needs to be something new and something everyone's happy with and has brought into. But there are lots of challenges to make that achievable, but I think it's worth utilising the opportunity that's there. But there was the very opinions on how it works, and many times an ambassador or a rotation or the general feeling of what was like and trying to put on.
I want to go ahead and example of what's happening with the South West Deaf Association, where organizations come from and people coming from Cornwall, they meet 3 times a year, and the membership fee is very expensive for traveling. And what they do in the evening after they were meeting their AGM, whatever it is, events. So it could be a dinner, it could be a magic show, it could be something else. And people buy tickets those people bring also some income to be able to pay their expenses and make people feel worthwhile traveling in all the place. It's not just business, but also something that they're making friends and doing. So maybe you can try it. Try it.
I love that idea, come together for social reasons. The key to, let's be honest here, the key to any successful collective is relationships. And, and sometimes it takes a while to build strong, supportive and reciprocal relationships. I'm not going to go into a really detailed overview of everything because I think you all kind of understood one another. I'm just going to say there seems to be kind of common support for one or two things. One is the idea of a rotating rep. I think 3 Tables kind of said that would be a really good idea, and that's a really easy way for different DPLOs to feel part of something, and that they are the collective. And one of the things I would really stress, and it's already been brought up at the table at the front, which Sue sitting on, is the idea of that rep doing something different, allowing a DPLO that actually normally doesn't participate or doesn't feel that it has maybe the opportunity previously, giving that opportunity to a smaller DPLO to be one of those on the rotation. It's only sometimes by the opportunity and experience that you can get there and feel confident to be able to represent the region. The other thing which I also agree is something that Tandy actually said, which is about the idea of this collective not being one thing. I agree, I don't think it should just be about the forum, because you're going to miss out on so many other things that you could be discussing, which are more pertinent to you in your region. It's got to make a difference about where you live and where most of you work and have impact. So that's really important. And also, as part of having different functions, it also allows that different DPLOs in the collective can also lead on those different areas of work. We've all got a diversity of specialisms and expertise that we can bring to the table. There also seems to be a consistent idea, which, again, I'm supportive of and learning from the other areas, is this is too short a time. Unfortunately, we're bound by this 3rd of April, but not really bound. It's one meeting, it's not going to change the world. In the end, it's about you all coming together and deciding how that together means, whether it's online, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's actually in a meeting, to come together to decide some of the more detail of what we look like together, what that structure would be. And I completely agree with your point, which is you don't have to get it right first time. I just think it's taking those baby steps, and going back to Stephen online, what's the most important thing is trying something different, trying ways that we may not have thought about before. And really for us, it's more about that you take that time and space to get it right and what is right for you guys in the Southwest. So far, out of that discussion, we've had also a recommendation for the ambassador to play a supportive, active role in the network. I do know, just speaking as an ambassador, one of the things of our changing role, that may be something that other ambassadors potentially are going to do in a very neutral, not in a supportive way as part of the programme. They support some of the other networks. For example, I'm from Yorkshire and Humber, and I hope I get the opportunity, if it's needed and required, to support that network, if it needs me to be there. We still haven't made a decision about the 3rd of April. I'm wondering if maybe from a show of hands, if I can maybe propose something, just from hearing what some of you have said. And can I just to make it fair, if we can have organisations, I know there's some people where there's a number of people from an organisation, just have one vote per organisation, DPLO. That would be appreciated. Maybe for the first meeting, to look at recommendations from the floor, but the recommendation I like to put forward, the fact that it's been mentioned from the table, is your regional ambassador to go forward for that first meeting. To maybe show of hands, or add into that mix anybody else that would like to attend that first meeting. So the 3rd of April meeting is finding out who would like to who would you like to represent you at that first meeting.
Yeah, I think having probably the ambassador for the region will probably be much useful solutions since we've not actually developed as such, and then maybe feedback to other participants which are here in person since we want to do it.
I might only suggest that because it has come from the floor a couple of times. I'm just making a comment on behalf of Steve, or I'll let Steve do it himself. Can someone hold the mic again by the mic?
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be commenting on, but basically, I'm really in favour of a hub-and-spoke approach. I think no method of communication or attendance or nobody should be precluded from attending in whatever manner they see fit. I really advocate independence. Not the democratically elected central body, but to take forward this work, working very closely with the DPLA throughout the region to give us a strong voice, a strong cooperative in which to move forward. I'm really happy to kind of take that voice forward if people want me to. But equally, I'm happy to support anybody else as long as they have no vested interest in what's being spoken.
Thank you for that. So, can I have my show of hands? Because it's just the fact that we all know that we made it. This is only for the first meeting, and then the second part is the idea that a lot of lips have already said is coming together again, and that may be could be supported by the ambassador time, so it doesn't have to belong to one organisation, which is doing the idea that yourself mentioned at the front table, which is a survey monkey to discuss how your structure looks like and how often you want to meet and all those things. Sorry, of course you can.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that there's 264 VPULOs on the list for the region. There were 15 represented here, there are now only 6. I would strongly support an independent person to be going to the meetings generally, but I think for the first one I'd like to propose that it's the ambassador.
Thank you so much. Show of hands just for that. Sorry, can I have the mic over there, please? Sorry.
I'm really sorry, I was going to do a bit down to that. It would be really useful, I think, for us to be clear about what the options are. So, what will be the other options before we sort of vote on the first one? We haven't heard what the other options would be, just so that we can make a more informed choice. Thank you.
It's really up to you to decide. I only came up with that option because it came from the floor about the first meeting. So it's really up to you, which was the other option would be other recommendations, other nominations from the floor. And I completely understand. A lot of people have left already because of other commitments. And that's why I say to the readers, don't get caught up about the first meeting. Think about the bigger picture and think about the long-term impact and how you're going to come together and participate in the forum and in other agendas in the region. So we have the ambassador as one option. Does anybody else want to nominate or recommend somebody in the region to come forward as a rep for the first meeting?
I don't want to suggest somebody, but I want to ask the question: if anybody here have the will, the wish, and the money and the sense to go and want to do it, and alongside the representative, and then we can vote.
That's what we're asking for. So, let's see who wants to say something.
I think it's not about expenses. it's about someone being able wanting to truly representative of this region who will have the time that goes along the day.
I'll put you out again. Sorry.
Just because you're right, we shouldn't get too focused on this meeting, even though we do need for that. We also need to decide who's going to take forward any of these plans to get the next step. Because otherwise, one person will go, and then nobody's been empowered, and nobody's been sort of signed up to take things forward. How are they going to
We'll do the first bit first, and okay. So, is there any other nominations or what people want to put themselves forward to go to the first meeting apart from the ambassador? I've got no show of hands. Nobody's coming forward. First of all, I need to ask the ambassador: would you like to go? And are you free on the 3rd of April? I have no idea, but the gentleman next to you may know. Okay. Great, thank you for that information. Just in case anybody didn't hear it, it's from 11 till 3 on that day, so basically it's a whole day commitment, and expenses, etc., will be supported by the ODM.
Hello. I am available on that day from 11. What I can do is I can go to the meeting, I can feed back to everybody about what happened at the meeting, and I think you're now going to sort of have some kind of discussion about how then that information is shared among the, you said 250? 264 organisations for the region as a whole to move forward. So I can go and I can be a pair of ears and the sponge, and then hopefully feedback. And I think you're quite right, it's the first meeting, will be a lot of getting to know meet and greets. So hopefully I would then, by the time the next one comes around, we should be able to move forward for regional rep.
Sorry, I'll just add to that as well. What I will do is make a commitment that we will get the dates of the future meetings to you as soon as possible, so that you're able to plan for that. And that certainly in future the agendas will be had well ahead of the meeting, so that it gives you an opportunity to circulate against the groups across the whole of the Southwest to be able to gather your thoughts and for whoever's going to represent you at that meeting in the future.
That's great, thank you for that information. Okay, so Tess is happy to do it. Can we have by show of hands that you are happy to send her, representing the Southwest? Yes. One vote per organisation. Brilliant. Anybody in council? Anybody against that decision, to be fair? Okay. And is anybody abstaining from that decision? Great. So you've been voted in, Tess. Tess, recording. You're basically going to the first meeting, so I don't know for a bad thing, but anyway, you're feeding back. So thank you for supporting that. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Can we take it to the next part? Andy, you want to say something?
Just a very quick question. There's representing delegate part. So Dan is representing the Forces Governor in North London, and then it's Sue Kells, Bristol, Gloucestershire, Wiltshire, Cornwall, Somerset. So I just want to clarify.
I think I need to answer that question, which is that the work of the strengthening Q&A programme, it will change slightly from next year.
Yeah, I forgot.
There has been some communications, and we're changing communications on the website at the moment. So it may be that the information you've got about ambassadors is not up to date. In fact, if it says that I work at Lewisham Council, then we can be sure that it's not up to date. So apologies for that, and hope that wants to be tested. Yeah. I'm sorry, Sue is still an ambassador, but and still will continue to be an ambassador. But we're working in a different way next year, and we've had some slightly different ways of working over the past months. So it's more been around people working on different projects. So well, I don't really know how to answer that question. In terms of ambassadors going forward, if you have agreed that you want an ambassador to go forward, then would you be happy for the programme to discuss outside in terms of resourcing who the relevant person is to go? Okay. 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 Okay, so we're in agreement that our ambassador will go. And in terms of details on regions and stuff, we are already working in a slightly different way. Type's been working outside of our region to work on all of these things.
I have never ever, according to that pack, ever just worked in Rotherham. I've actually done no work in Rotherham. It's a town that I live in, so for some reason, to be fair, all the ambassadors, because our priorities have changed, we've evolved. We were kind of like an innovative project in the ODI, and so our roles were always changing. So I never kind of paid attention to the regional bit, but I agree with Sue. Some areas were shared by a number of ambassadors and always have been. When we get to the second part, which is probably, Andy, you want to say something? Probably the mic for a while.
Yes, maybe the second part, actually, in the end, it's a more important part.
Yeah.
And that's around how we build a new regional network. And it's basically, I think, at this stage, identifying a number of individuals who are willing to work together with some sort of steering group, and therefore working with half everybody else to find a way in having that survey, thinking about an additional meeting, particularly to tie it with etc. feedback from the event. And basically, I think it's about identifying new people, because everyone will be involved in the process, but it doesn't mean necessarily everyone has to be involved in a steering group, necessarily a steering group willing to actually work for the whole region, bring that idea of the network together. I think I heard Steve volunteering. Certainly, I'm willing to volunteer as well, and we've included the people that have the time and interest to do that. To also do that, it would be good to get a steering group together, at least 4, probably slightly more, people willing to actually work together and put it together. To put that through the way.
Thank you, Andy. Would you like to say something about that? Okay. What's your name? Sorry.
Just say I'm happy to be part of an initial steering group and then to sort of organise how it's going to work. My names are Claire and Sharon CH.
What organisation are you in?
Wessel, WECIL. Would it be useful to, obviously there's 3 people who volunteered towards the steering group within this room, to actually put out via our email networks, whatever, question to the organisations who can't be with us at this moment, to find out if there are other individuals interested in taking part in the steering group, so those people have a good lead-in time on that.
That sounds like a good idea.
I just wanted to add to that to say that not everybody that's here can actually make that decision on behalf of their organisation, so that would be a really fun way of doing it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Just on a purely practical point, if we're going to send out an email and ask everybody about the steering group, but are we suggesting the steering group meet physically and look at their travel expenses and access requirements to involved? Have we got anything for that, or are we suggesting a virtual meeting? I'm not quite clear, so probably other people aren't clear as well.
just back to the point you're making, I suppose. I think a lot of this really hangs on what we find out about the funding, I suppose. In that the example from Liverpool was quite well funded, which enabled it to do the meetings, enabled it to do the access, so on and so forth. And so I think we're kind of, I guess we're hanging on for that day, but having a bunch of people who are expressing an interest and then waiting for the information to come forward about what funding we've got. And then I think as a region we might be responding to government if there isn't funding.
The other point that I just wanted to make is that the meeting today has been held in the very kind of north area of the South West. If we'd held the meeting in North Cornwall today, would it have been the same people representing? So I think the bit about sort of sending it out to email, because there may well be people further south that are really interested, but for whatever reason, speaking on behalf of a very small voluntary organisation, if it hadn't been in Cornwall, we would have been there because we wouldn't have had the resources to do that at the time, etc. So I just think that we're not really being very inclusive if we make kind of these sort of decisions without including the rest of the council.
Thank you. Rachel just had a comment from online from Stephen. I'm going to speak on behalf of Stephen because he's offered this to Mike, and just so I try and be a man and do a male voice, but it would be a disaster. Steve has asked who will chair the steering group in that initial meeting, and has said, would it be someone from the ADI? So that's not me asking this, I'm speaking on behalf of Steve.
If I'm honest with you, my personal feeling on all of this is that some of that is the details that you would discuss at that first meeting. For me, there's no point meeting until the 3rd of April has happened and the opportunity to feedback and to understand some of those outstanding queries and questions. And hopefully by that meeting we'll have some direction about funding. Yes, I'm trying to test the pointing things to me. I'm trying to your language. Okay. I think this has been mentioned a couple of times. No decisions have been made yet, but there's an absolute imperative. What everybody's saying in the room. Lots of people are not here. You have a huge region, and it's quite disparate in terms of like where people are based across the region. And they're not here because of other commitments. Also, we've got to ensure that anything that is decided, that those individuals have the opportunity to contribute to this discussion, which I agree with. So I think everybody in the room is kind of nodding their heads, and kind of that's a given, I'm hoping. So far, we've had that a number of people from this particular group has put themselves forward, which is Steve online, Andy in the room, Claire at the back, who would like to be involved in the initial steering group. And if I'm hearing you guys correctly, it's not the steering group forever, it's about just galvanizing and mobilizing from the feedback to move this and to get it going, just the initial stages. So that's what I'm hearing. Is anybody else like to, from this group sitting here, which we'll send out as an email, but the ODI will hopefully, am I right in saying this, that you could help and support any of that?
On the speak for the ODI, I think the ODI preferred to speak outside of that particular meeting, so for specific. Each region across the country, I've been to the whole region for them. I think that's right to offer outside the Thanks for the request.
Good to know.
We've got a few groups coming together in Gloucestershire at the beginning of April, so we'll throw the idea out and see if we can get somebody to get involved, whether it's in drop or one or the other.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion then that seems from where I'm sitting maybe slightly neutral, but you need something from you, Tex, and Sue, because you're two ambassadors and you do know the region. Is that something in terms of the next part, just supporting the email going out, the fact that we've had a number of people in this room have already put themselves forward to be part of the initial steering group, but put some of this information out there, and then also an email to set the next coming together of. Is that something that you could help to do? Thank you, Tess. Is that something you could be involved with also? Thank you. So is that an agree? Is everybody happy with that? We've got Tess going to the first meeting, which is the 3rd of April. Okay. And Sue, happily, you're both ambassadors. We've always worked together with ambassadors. And I think I'm saying that's a given that you both will be communicating. I know that's fantastic. The second part is there's going to be an initial steering group that will be made up of people from the region, and people have the right to just nominate themselves. They don't have to be nominated by anybody else. And Tess is going to initially, with Sue, work together to put an email out and galvanise that to a first meeting. And from there onwards, we'll talk with the ambassadors, because they do have time to give to region. That's part of their role, is to look at maybe supporting those initial few meetings or something. I'm just trying to look at a really practical way to take it forward. Is everybody happy with that? Can we just have a show of hands? So, sorry to be like school teacher here. Seems like everybody's kind of supportive. Sorry? If anybody is not happy with that, brilliant. Stephen, are you okay? I've not had it. Are you okay with that as the way forward?
I'd be happy if we're asking independently. I'm worried that soon maybe.
Is it Sue? It's a test.
Independently, and that I've got a vested interest. Why is that
If I may just try that, to be fair, I'm from Yorkshire and Humber. Okay, I've not done a huge amount of ambassador within that region, because partly I've been asked to go across the whole country. I have a vested interest because I live there. I regard myself as a disabled person, and I've had, I want to, things that go on that could impact my life, I want to have a say on. And I think you're never going to get to that level of a neutral person unless you pick somebody from outside. But that's everything we've talked about in this meeting all day today. Local knowledge, local expertise, and people understanding the lived experience of this region. So, yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm speaking now as national lead for the programme. I think this is a very unhelpful conversation to be having. What I've heard from this room is that we've agreed that you've decided that you will have an ambassador to go to that first meeting, and that you will have an ambassador to support future meetings of the steering group. In terms of who that ambassador is, the ambassador roles are all the same in terms of job descriptions, and it's for us as a programme to decide the best people and how the resources are best deployed on the basis of all kinds of things, including availability, connection with the region, and all the rest of it. So we, from a programme perspective, we're not in a position to name individuals, and I don't think that's very helpful for the meeting. Is that acceptable? Okay.
I'm going to kind of close this session to the end because I've already hit my time limit about a few minutes ago. But thank you so much. It took us a while to get there, but we got there. But these things, that's how they are, and that's democracy. Thank you so much, and please do have a safe journey home. I'm going to hand over to Rachel because she's going to do some summing up.
I hope I'm not going to do some summing up. I'm going to say thank you very much for having, thank you so much for coming today. And I'm going to hand over to Andy to sum up. But before I do, can I just thank AD UK and also Steve Perry from the ODI for the work that they've done in making today happen. There's been an incredible amount of work behind the scenes, and I think their organisations both deserve a round of applause.
Right, thank thank you everyone for coming today. Thank you everyone who's participated in today's event. I think that's been really good. And for all those people who've had a long journey to get here, hopefully a safe journey home as well. Thank you for all those people that have put the effort in, etc. I know a lot of people have put a lot of effort in, particularly at the last minute, to enable this particular day to go ahead as well as it has done. So thank you to all the people that have been involved in that. Just summarising really, it has been good. I think it's always good when new players get in the room. We also demonstrate actually we don't necessarily agree with what we're told by other people, which is also good. And that's part of the democratic process. It isn't about necessarily agreeing with one another, it's about being committed to people's equality in our case. And we all have very strong views about that, and that can sometimes go out in the way we discuss things, and that's a key part of what gives us strength, and which actually is the thing that actually pushes disability equality onwards. It is not sadly those people that always deliver the services for us. So that's really good. It's really enjoyable to experience that. In terms of the day itself, I hope you got out of it the aims and objectives of the day. They were broadly met, I think. Do please fill your evaluation form in. Thank you very much to Steve on the line here. Having been trying to do Skype with other people on other occasions, it is not the easiest thing to do, and actually does give you a headache. It certainly gives me a headache when it happens to me. Do please fill your evaluation forms in. They are important to us, really. And a safe journey home. Any queries you have about the event, either now or later when you've got home, please do come back to us, and we'll deal with those. Thank you very much.